gurus, and I consider Sukakar Prabhuji as my Shiksha Guru. He is because of their blessings and mercy only I am trying to do something, and something is Prabhupada mercy, everything is happening. Guru Maharaj mercy. So once again, thank you very much. So please kindly bless me so that whatever I speak, correct words comes at a appropriately at correct time in a very pleasing to all the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Bol Hari Bol Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Sudarshana Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Patita Pavan Shri Gurudev Ki Jai Jai Om Shri Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ashtotra Sada Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nityanila Prabhishnu Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Ashtotra Sada Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai VPT Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय Nitai Gaur Sitana Premanandi Hari Hari Bol All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Gurudev. We'll share today's words also.
Ajit Prabhu, share the verse, Prabhu. Ajit Prabhu.
I'll share, bro. You can see mine.
We'll share. Okay.
You can see the verse, right?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from third canto, chapter 32, text number 27, in the matter of entanglement in fruitive activities. Etavanyeva yogena samagreneha yoginaha yujyate abhimato hi harto yat asangastu krishnasaha. Etavanyeva yogena samagreneha yoginaha yujyate abhimato hi harto yat asangastu krishnasaha. Translation. The greatest common understanding for all yogis is complete detachment from matter, which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga. Purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are three kinds of yoga, namely Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. Devotees, jnanis, and yogis all try to get out of the material entanglement. The jnanis try to detach their sensual activities from material engagement. The jnana yogi thinks that matter is false and that Brahman is truth. He tries, therefore, by cultivation of knowledge, to detach the sense from material enjoyment. The Ashtanga yogis also try to control the senses. The devotees, however, try to engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Therefore, it appears that the activities of the bhaktas, devotees, are better than those of the jnanis and yogis. The mystic yogis simply try to understand the senses by practicing the 8 divisions of yoga, that is yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and dharana and samadhi, let it come, etc. And the jnanis try by mental reasoning to understand that sense enjoyment is false. But the easiest and most direct process is to engage the senses in the service of the Lord. The purpose of all yoga is to detach one's sense activities from this material world. The final aims, however, are different. Jnanis want to become one with the Brahman effulgence, yogis want to realize Paramatma, and devotees want to develop Krishna consciousness and transcendental loving service to the Lord. That loving service is the perfect stage of sense control. The senses are actually active symptoms of life and they cannot be stopped. They can be detached only if there is superior engagement, as it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishva Nivartate. Bhagavad Gita 9.59. The activities of the senses can be stopped if they are in superior engagements. The supreme engagement is engagement of the senses in the service of the Lord. That is the purpose of all yoga. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paskatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the greatest common understanding for all yogis is complete detachment from matter, which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga. So this chapter, as we know, that Kapila Deva, he is instructing his mother Devahuti about the process of devotional service. But in this particular chapter, he is talking about how the living entities get entanglement by engaging in various fruitive activities, and because of that, the living entity undergoes various kinds of impediments in their life. So now here we see that Kapilideva is instructing that a person is supposed to practice different kinds of yoga and ultimately one has to control the mind and senses and engages in the service of the Lord. That is the purpose of the yoga. So the main purpose of any yoga, practicing yoga, what is the goal is to rise above the mental, sensual, emotional, all these different kinds of layers of levels. And then one engages, come to the topmost platform, that is a spiritual platform where one can engage in the service of the Lord. That is the purpose of yoga. So in the Bhagavad Gita, also in the last verse of the 6th chapter, the Ashtanga Yoga process, there the Lord says, Yoginam api sarvesham madhyatena antaratmanaha. So of all the yogis, one who abides in me, who is constantly thinking of the Lord, he is the best of all the yogis, according to Lord Sri Krishna. So whether you practice Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Dhyana Yoga, whatever practice, ultimately one has to come to the platform of Bhakti Yoga, where one realizes that he is an eternal servant of Krishna and his duty to surrender to him and render transcendental service unto him. This is the ultimate goal. And so for that, so there are different methods. That's why Prabhupada mentions here, there are three kinds of yoga, namely Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. But here we see, although there are three kinds of yogas are there, and there are three different kinds of transcendentalists also is there. There are the yogis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the bhaktas. The jnanis and the yogis, they have a different, although the Lord has said in Bhagavad Gita, the ultimate is one has to come to that platform of surrender, but because they have not come to the platform of bhakti, there is every chance that for them to get diverted to other goals. Like, for example, here it's mentioned, the jnanis, they understand that Brahman is the truth. And then they want to realize the Paramatma. They come to the platform of realizing Brahman. They want to either be one with Brahman, that is what they want, and yogis, they want to realize Paramatma in the heart. So they have the different goals. But the devotees, Prabhupada writes here, that they realize that they are above this Brahman and Paramatma realization. Right? In the Bhagavatam, it is said that Ete Cham Sakala Pumsa Krishnasta Bhagavan Swayam. So the ultimately Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Sabdeti. So one may come realize the first plant, one may realize Brahman, but above that there is a Paramatma realization, and ultimately one comes to the Bhagavan realization. I'll take questions at the end. So the point here is that that we have got this wonderful opportunity by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, that he has translated the whole Bhagavad Gita in a way, such a way that one can understand the ultimate goal of practicing any yoga. Right from the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you will see that Prabhupada writes in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is talk about Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, and the glimpse of Bhakti Yoga is also given in Buddhi Yoga or Krishna Consciousness, or Bhakti Yoga is described. And what happens in the third chapter, when after hearing the second chapter from Krishna, Arjuna come into confusion in the third chapter. He asks a question that if Buddhi Yoga is superior to all the other yogas, then why you want me to engage in this horrible, battle in the war? He doesn't want to engage in the battlefield. He doesn't want to fight. So he's asking that question to Krishna, the Lord. But that Arjuna's confusion was that he misunderstood that Bhuti Yoga means to retire from all the activities and go to the forest and be engaged in, some spiritual, some yoga practice. But that's not what Krishna wants actually. So that's why Krishna further explains, further chapter goes like that. Many of the people have a wrong idea about the yoga practice. As you all know that yoga, the word yoga, just now what do you call, every year we have celebrate one yoga day, no? So just now it went. So many people have a wrong idea that yoga, the purpose of yoga, they think that it is for maintaining the health, good health, and practicing some asanas, controlling the breath. And ultimately, what is the purpose, according to many of people, conception is that to maintain good health. But that's not the purpose what we understand from Bhagavad Gita. But anyway, many, as you all know that one, that in the Prabhupada used to say that many people come to the Western countries and they market yoga to get some, make some yoga. They are practicing yoga and they are teaching yoga for making some money. There are so many swamis, yogis, they are all going there to practice, and some of them they teach that you will realize by doing, practicing a particular kind of pranayama or doing asana, what will happen is that you will realize that you are God. It is another way of cheating the people. And then that way you will achieve a lot of peace, everlasting peace. And for that, there are hundreds and thousands of people in Western countries. They are very much hooked up when they hear the word yoga, and they pay a lot of money for that purpose. And that's why there are so many people are flocking the Western countries and to teach yoga practice. And Prabhupada, he used to tell that if you want to give something cheap, there will be hundreds and thousands of people ready to accept it. But but if you want to sell something valuable thing, very diamond, you will not find many people come to pay the price for it. So Krishna consciousness is like that. Krishna consciousness is not a cheap thing. It's a very, very rare diamond. So Bhakti Yoga is a topmost process with Krishna that with Srila Prabhupada distributed. That's why sometimes people ask that why many people are not attracted to this movement, although there are many people they have become Krishna conscious, but sometimes people may question how many, not that there are so many Swamijis who are not preaching the real message of Bhagavad Gita, but they have millions of followers for them. And Prabhupada, if he would have compromised little bit, he could have also had many, many millions of followers. But Prabhupada, he never compromised, and he gave the same message what Lord Krishna has given in Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, he has given the true message of Krishna, the Lord, and he has given the positive spiritual activities for us to engage in the senses or in the service of the Lord. Anyway, for today's discussion, whatever yoga practice you may have, ultimately one has to control the senses, mind, Otherwise, there is no question of making progress in spiritual life, right? Whether whichever yoga practice, but there are so unscrupulous Swamijis. They say that when you can do anything, you can smoke, you can drink anything you want. You come and do practice little your asana and breathing techniques, then you will be advanced. But that is complete cheating. So therefore, we are all very fortunate that we have come in contact with Srila Prabhupada movement, who has given this message as it is, the pure form, rare diamond he has given us. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse, the verse number 34 from 3rd chapter. Now, we understand from this verse, the translation of the verse says that the greatest common understanding for all yogis is complete detachment from matter, which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga. Now, what does it mean by complete detachment from matter? Does that mean that we completely renounce, let's like Arjuna was saying, you completely renounce everything, go to the forest and be detached and not doing anything? So that is not real detachment. So we should understand what is real detachment means. What is real detachment? So that we see from the verse of 3.34 from Bhagavad Gita. It says, Indriyas Indriyate Indriyasarte Raga Dvesho Vyavastitau Tayorna Vasham Agachet Ta Hi Asya Paripantinau. What does it mean? The Lord says one should follow, there are certain principles to regulate our attachment and aversion. As far as it's pertaining to the senses and their objects. We should not come under control of such attachment and aversion, because they will become stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. Now, the Lord says that we have to regulate our attachment and aversion also. What does it mean by regulate attachment and aversion? We have a natural inclination to do certain things. We are attached to do something. We are attached to money, power, fame, so many things of this world, right? And at the same time, we are averse to many things. We don't want to do certain things. Just like Prabhupada used to say, when the boys, they don't like to go to school, and the parents are telling you have to go to school and get educated, but the child doesn't want to go to school. They want to play all the times. So same way, we all have certain attachments and detachment. But here the Lord says one should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion, because both they are stumbling blocks on the path of realization. In essence, actually, what is it? We are in the conditioned state. We want to get attached to things which we are not supposed to attach, and we are getting averse, even though we don't want to. But we are not supposed to get aversion upon it. For example, like in the Vedic culture, from the tender age of 5, as Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumarat Acharet Prajno Dharman Bhagavatamiha Durlabham Manusham Janma. So one has to be trained systematically from spiritual life from the tender age of 5. One has to go to the Gurukula school, live a austere life, practice celibacy, and perform devotional service and progress in spiritual life. So this is an austerity, but nobody wants to do that kind of practice, right? Now what is happening according to modern education, that you should work hard, somehow make money and enjoy your life. Ka pio ashkaro, right? This is what we hear, right? But that is totally in opposite way. The society is bombarding everyone to engage your senses as much as possible. Like for example, when you are, if the boys after finishing the school, they go to college, they openly say, now you have become adult, you should know how to smoke, how to drink, right? How to make girlfriends. So this is what the teachings of the modern society. So one gets completely bewildered. Nobody telling that you must perform austerity and take spiritual life seriously. And suppose somebody takes spiritual life and people start mocking at him. ये क्या अलग हो गया, इसको कुछ खराब हो गया दिमाग, you know, he becomes a out of the society person. So in Kali Yuga, normal things become abnormal and abnormal things become normal. So that is the way Kali Yuga works. So as a result, what happened? People are getting attached to things of temporary things of this world and detached from things which they are supposed to be taken seriously. Like, for example, just now, recently, everyone must have heard the news about 5 people. They made an attempt to go down deep into the sea to see the Titanic ship, which was sunk more than 120 years ago. And now, look at the point from an ordinary point. If I look at that point, what is the big thing about this Titanic, which has sunk 120 years ago? It is in a rotten condition. What is the big thing to go and see these things? There are wonderful things is there in this world to see. Why should one spend so much of millions of dollars and risking their life and go and do such a thing? It's a sheer ignorance, and one may say that, okay, I'm attached to see all these things. What is the big thing about it? It is completely ridiculous, risking their own life, and ultimately they lost their life, right? Even from material point of view, it is such a stupid thing, taking so much of risk, right? On the other hand, like we have the beautiful deities of the Lord, which we can see, the devotees can see. They can drink the beauty of the Lord with a cup of the rice. And we have so many wonderful things of this world, which the non-devotees, they don't want to engage. They don't want to see all these things, experience all these things. So it is a real unfortunate situation. So why I am saying this, that we are getting attached to things which are worthless actually, and we are rejecting things which are which are like a rare diamond, right? Prabhupada used to say that actually all the Indians, especially, they are very close to the Krishna. The name Lord Krishna, Rama and all is very common to all of us. Right from the birth, we hear these things. And India is especially, Bharata Bhumi is famous for one thing, is that what? Spirituality, right? You cannot avoid spirituality in India, such a way that even if somebody is, naming the name of the Lords or any Devatas, like where you have Ganesh Bidi. So people name even the Devata's name for certain things. You cannot be away from taking spiritual names. Somehow or other, you will get connected. So here according to the Lord, the words of Bhagavad Gita, one should not come under the regulate attachment and aversion. Now, so that is why here the recommendation given is that one should be simply accept. Rupa Goswami is, he is giving in the nectar of instruction, he is saying that one should accept things which are favorable for devotional service, and one should reject things which are not favorable for Krishna consciousness. This is the platform of the devotee who acts. One time Srila Prabhupada, when he was when he went to the Australia, some people came and argued with him that your movement is supposed to be a movement of renunciation, but you are you're traveling in your Rolls-Royce car. Prabhupada was picked up from the airport from a Rolls-Royce car, and you are living in a very affluent life. How is that? Prabhupada said, no, our movement is not a movement for renunciation. Our movement is simply for using everything in the service of the Lord, Yukta Vairagya, right? We simply use everything in the service of Krishna, that's it, right? One time, very funny thing is that Prabhupada was preaching in America. Some devotees came and told Prabhupada that, they were preaching to the hippies and the drugs, people who are taking drugs. And in one concert, the Prabhupada went there and he saw that all the people there, they were having a peculiar dress. All of them were wearing, a kind of dress made of banana peel. That banana peel, which normally we throw it off. They were making, attaching all this banana peel like a kind of thing and then making a dress. So why Prabhupada seeing this, he said, what is this? I never seen like this. So the devotees told, actually, these people have found that all these drug addicts, if you use this banana peel and and then you heat it, in a fumes, it generate a kind of a drug order, kind of it gives a certain kind of kick. So they value very much banana peel. So that's why they want to create an atmosphere like that. And Prabhupada, that I never thought in my life that banana peel can be used like this. And then they said that, all these people are, making an offer. They are saying that they will supply, cartons of, huge cartons of banana on one condition, that if you give back the banana peel back to them, you take the banana, you give the peel back to them. If we are ready for that, they will ready to offer a lot of bananas. Prabhupada said, okay, no problem, give it. So Prabhupada accepted it. So Prabhupada is very expert. Somehow or other, he wanted everyone to engage in the Lord service in some or other way, because somehow in that way at least they will get some sukriti, because that banana is used for making some fruit salad or an offer it to the Lord. So that will give some credit to them. So he accepted that one. So Prabhupada, other time Prabhupada, he said that, similar question comes up. Prabhupada said, what is this Mercedes and Rolls Royce? This is all made of tin and rubber. This is nothing. They should actually offer a golden car to the spiritual master. This is nothing. For you, it may be some value, but for me, this is nothing. So Prabhupada is never intimidated by all this question. He gives back right in front to them back. So Prabhupada is such a great spiritual master. So the point is that we have to utilize, the only way is that we cannot reject anything or accept anything without any discrimination. So what is a discrimination? Rupa Goswami has given that simple principle is that if it is favorable for Krishna's service, accept it. If it is not favorable for Krishna's service, reject it. That's it. So now what is favorable and what is not favorable, it may be different to different persons. Like for example, Srila Prabhupada went to America while he was preaching. There it was, the devotees were, looking for some place to purchase, to make a nice center. And he was taken to different places to show. So this Fisher Mansion is very famous in Detroit. So they took Prabhupada to see that it's a big, it's like a big place it is. So Prabhupada, that Ambarish Prabhu, his Ambarish Prabhu is the one who actually took Prabhupada along with some other devotees there, and Prabhupada saw that big mansion. Actually, it was a big mansion, and Prabhupada said, this place is amazing, and it can be, every place. And Prabhupada already made a visual, he made already a plan that this place can be used for keeping the altar, and this place can be used for a kitchen, this place can be used for, storing in so many ways. But the devotees are saying, Prabhupada, this is in Maya, it's so big place, and why we should purchase like this? Prabhupada said, no, Maya also can be used for Krishna's service. So he asked Ambarish Prabhu that, and then finally the negotiation came, and Prabhupada said to that, there was an agent also, but Prabhupada, he actually neglected the agent, and he was directly talking to that mansion owner, and he was telling that this place is very wonderful for us. We are very interested to purchase. And this mansion, the owner of that mansion, he became very much happy because after a long time, somebody has shown interest to purchase. He thought that this deal is going to happen. So he said he was very happy. But Prabhupada said, we are all beggars. We don't have any money. So you should give it to us. So Prabhupada made a negotiation like that. And that owner, he got a shock. He had met so many people who have come for purchasing, so much negotiation made, but nobody has made such a negotiation that asking free to come mansion. And finally somehow they have come to a compromise, and then Prabhupada offered some value and the owner agreed. And then he turned to Ambarish Prabhu after finishing the negotiation. While they are going, he asked Ambarish Prabhu that, can you arrange this money? So Ambarish Prabhu said, yes, we will arrange the money. So the negotiation was done, the Fisher Mansion was purchased, and there's a very beautiful temple there now. And after that, after purchasing, after 2 days, Prabhupada, he went to another place. So at the time of departure, he said that when I came here, I didn't have any money. And now we have this big temple by Krishna's mercy, and I am going back within 2 days. I mean, he is leaving the place after 2 days. So Prabhupada was never attached to any of these things. Although he got it, they purchased and then they offered to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was never attached to all this big palace, big place or big temples. Although he was the instrument in making everything, right? He never attached to all these things. He was very interested in spreading the message of the Lord, constantly traveling. He was not staying in any place more than 1 or 2 days. So, but we see that nowadays, there are a lot of Swamijis, and they are very much attached to their ashram or small place, whatever they have, but they are not taking the risk of going and spreading the message of Krishna. So this is the unique difference between Srila Prabhupada and other so many, sannyasis and other people. So Prabhupada was never attached. He was only attached to only one thing, that is to spread the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam throughout the world. That was his only attachment. For that, he was ready to take any kind of risk. He was very happy in Vrindavan, right? We all know that he was staying in Radha Damodar temple, chanting. He was in blissful. But why he left that Vrindavan? Anyone will not, he was a Paramahamsa stage, no one will leave Vrindavan. He used to say that at any moment I may leave my body. Even in that situation, Prabhupada was not attached to staying in one place, and he was not attached to, not getting liberated alone. He wanted everyone to get the Krishna, the Lord Krishna Prema, Lord's mercy. So for that, he took all the risk. So he gave up all those, even the attachments of staying in one place. He went, but he carried the Vrajadam in his heart. And wherever he went, he was able to create Vrindavan. So how is this happening? It is simply happening because he wanted to, he was detached from anything of this material world. Simply he was attached to the service of his Guru and how to serve the Lord. So this is the unique message we are getting here, that although the verse says that here one should be detached completely from matter, which is to be, and the purpose of yoga is to do that one, but unless we have a clear idea what we need to get detached and where we have to get attached. So unless we get attached to devotional service, unless we attach to serving the Lord, unless we attach to serving the devotees, we can never get detached from anything of this material world. So we have to look everything has everything in this world in connection with Krishna, right? So one time one Swamiji was there, and there are many Prabhupada disciples. They came and told, this Swami is very renunciate. He does not accept any money. If anyone brings money and offer to him, he will say that, no, I will not take this money. He will make, as a kind of gesture that he is very detached from money. When Prabhupada heard that, he said that, he said, I am not like that. If anyone take me, and if anyone is offering a lot of money, he said, bring me more money, I will accept it, everything. Because he knows that how to utilize for Krishna's service. So Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. We have to see everything as a service to Krishna. We can utilize everything. As one of the principle is utility is principle, right? So we have to utilize everything in the service of the Lord. But at the same time, one should be very clear to detach from things which things we should be detached. Like for example, Prabhupada made a mandatory rule that one should follow 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling. Which we cannot be attached to all these things, right? And we have to get attached to what we need to get attached to: chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? So that is the devotee's aspiration, is that only thing is that what we need to get attached to, attached to Lord Krishna's holy name. Right? So that is the only thing we have to aspire for it. Right? So the Lord is so enchanting. So who will not get attracted to the Supreme Lord? So anyone who chants sincerely the holy name of the Lord, immediately he will realize how wonderful the Lord is. They will simply get attached to the Lord. So by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have got this wonderful opportunity to chant the holy name and get by sincerely chanting the holy name every day, and by following these 4 regulative principles very strictly, then one can make great progress and one can be detached from completely things which are not favorable for our devotional service. So this is a test that just like when we are, how much we are detached from this world, this can be tested by how much we are getting attached to the Lord, chanting the holy name, by serving the Vaishnavas, by engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord. So this is the directly, just like how when we are hungry, the more we eat, the more we get energized. The same way, you simply, when we are able to chant Hare Krishna mantra incessantly, then we can get detached from things of this material world. Otherwise, it is not possible at all. So the best way is, as Prabhupada mentioned, is that to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. Shikena Shikesha Sevanam. That one must engage our senses in the service of the Lord. Because the senses are very strong and impetus, right? Even the great yogis, they all get agitated. We all know that story of Vishwamitra Muni and so many great people. They fall down from the path of spiritual realization because of the senses. So we cannot take it easily. Our senses are our greatest enemy. Like Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, the mind and senses, the body, mind, senses is a very complex mechanism. We cannot get so easily away from this, complication. The only way is when we take shelter of the holy name of the Lord, when we keep ourselves tightly in the association of devotees and do preaching vigorously, this is the only way we can be detached from this material world. Otherwise, it is impossible, right? So Prabhupada always tell that one, I cannot save you if you do not follow these regulative principles. Prabhupada is giving, he said that if you follow these 4 regulative principles, strictly chant your prescribed number of rounds, I promise you I will take you back to Bhagavad. But if you are lenient, careless, if you become careless, you will become a casualty. We have to remember that one, right? If you don't want to become a casualty, we have to take it seriously. The principles where we have to attach, what we have to detach from ourselves. And if you get attached to principles given by Srila Prabhupada in his books and through the associate of devotees, then it is for sure that Prabhupada will take us back home, back to God. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So I would request other devotees, Krishnadas Prabhuji or any senior devotees.
Hare Krishna.
comments.
Mukunda Prabhu, such a wonderful way you dealt it. You gave from all the angles about how the other yogas are inferior, which cannot give you really liberation and vairagya. Only by the bhakti marga you can get the both. Jnana also will come, vairagya also will come, and so self-realization also will happen. So one point for me is, I think all these are happening because of the false ego. We are not able to surrender to the Lord, knowing Jiva Swarupa Nitya Krishna, but still not fully surrendering. The false ego, and because of that, the duality is also coming. We are not anchoring and So can you just tell the false ego, which is the biggest dangerous enemy?
Yes. As I said that this body-mind mechanism, the false ego is one of the material elements which is covering the soul. So the practice of yoga is meant to come above all these coverings and be situated in a spiritual platform. Yes, the false ego is the most difficult thing, as Prabhupada used to say that, which make us to think that the last snare of Maya is to make us to think that I am God, That is the last snare of Maya, Prabhupada writes in the purports. So one has to come to the highest stage. So that means if you have to come to overcome the false ego, as is rightly said, one has to come situated in the real ego platform, that understand that we are the eternal servant of Krishna, Jivera Swarupa Nitya Krishnadas, as you rightly pointed out. That's the only Prabhu. And so in that way, we can overcome. We will never come under the influence of false ego. And when we realize that we are the eternal servant of Krishna and we keep engaging in your devotional service, then our false ego cannot act upon us. Then we are already in the topmost platform. Thank you, Prabhu. There's one question is asked. Shankaracharya was only a jnani. Is Surendran Prabhu, Srini Surendran Prabhu asked?
Mataji.
Oh,
Mataji.
Sorry. Srini Surendran. No, Shankaracharya, actually we should remember that he is an Satyavesh, he's an avatar, he's an incarnation of Lord Shiva. So he does whatever he thought for a particular purpose. He wanted to actually drive away Buddhism, and he wanted to bring people to come to the Vedic fold. So he preached in such a way that people will start following the Vedic way. So we should not, there are two purposes he came. Externally he came, he preached in such a way that, the Mayavada philosophy, but we have to understand this is also an arrangement of the Lord, so that, people will some or other accept the Vedic, the Vedas, because in Buddhism, they completely rejected the Vedas, but Shankaracharya drove Buddhism from India, and then he brought people again to follow the Vedic principles. Of course, he also wrote the last, the very important work of him is Bhaja Govindam, where he told very clearly that everyone should surrender to Krishna. So it is externally we may look at him in the way that he preached Mayavadi philosophy, or he preached like a jnani, but that's not the real purpose of the law of his mission. His mission is ultimately to make everyone a pure devotee of Govinda, Lord Govinda. That was his purpose. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Ajit Prabhu, yeah.
Wonderful lecture. Prabhu, I have a question. So, we know about yoga, we hear about yoga, we listen, we read. But when it comes to application, right, practical application of the yoga, implementing in our own life, I personally feel that it is a big challenge. How to be confident enough, or how to apply these teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada in our life. So can you just give some hints on how to apply that so that we can improve our material condition? Because in the influence of ignorance, obviously we see at what is the situation.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. I know that you are such a senior person.
No, Prabhuji, please, I have not. It is all Shukar Prabhu's, you all said the same thing. Shukar Prabhu always preaches like it. So it's not like that, Prabhu, please.
No,
I'm
no,
really
what I mean
struggling there.
is, you are setting an example to so many people.
No,
Definitely, you
Prabhu,
know
no,
the answer, but
nothing like
I'm
that.
just,
Prabhu is a self-realized soul, Prabhu.
No,
yeah, I
Prabhu.
know that one. Anyone who practices more than 10, 12 years means it's not an easy joke. So, I mean to say, yes, definitely in Kali Yuga, to practice the application is always a challenge for everyone. And it is an uphill task. We are against the current. We are against the current of Kali Yuga. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy only, whatever we are able to do, we are able to practice. He has made Susukam Kartamaviyam by chanting and feasting. This principle is the basic thing Prabhupada has taught us. So, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, he has given this process of by simply, we have to do one thing. One thing we have to be very clear about it, that we cannot take it, although this process looks very simple, we have to take it seriously. Krishna says, "E tamam pravatyante tam stataiva bhajami." As all surrender unto me, I reward you accordingly. So, in the movement also, we will see that there are many devotees who have come to Krishna consciousness, and they also left Krishna consciousness for various reasons. So, if we have to anything in this world, if you have to achieve it, higher things, we have to sacrifice something, and you have to be serious about it. So one has to be very, very serious about it in following the basics. Definitely, at any point of time, we cannot be careless in, sometimes what happens, devotees get into um, a kind of complacent stage. Okay, you know some philosophy, you've heard it many times, you've heard hundreds of lectures, we ourselves are given many lectures, and then we come to a stage, our mind comes to a stage that, okay, you know everything, there's nothing else to know in Krishna. Hey, we are already in a liberated stage or perfected stage. But this is real Maya for all of us. I'm talking about myself, Prabhu. Please don't, I'm not qualified to instruct anyone or, but I'm seeing what's happening here, that, this process is a continuous process. Every day is a test for us. In a school, sometimes they will say without announcement, they will make a test, It's like this Krishna conscious Prabhupada is like a razor edge. Unless you are very careful, we will bleed. So we have to follow we don't have to do anything big things. We have to follow the basic things. Don't do anything wrong against the basic principles of following the four regulative principles sincerely, chanting our prescribed number of rounds, and engage ourselves as much as possible without wasting our time in any unnecessary things. Okay, in material life, one is a grahastha, and according to the situation, one has to engage some material activities, no doubt about that one. But we have to, other than that one, we have to be completely focused in, and the best way is preaching, because there is no limit for this. Unlimited opportunities are available. So if you gain knowledge, if you are not using that knowledge that knowledge that is not actually helping us. So we must give the knowledge to as many people. There are plenty of opportunities for preaching. So the best way of defense is to be offensive, right? So preaching is the best method to be enough, take one step higher so that Maya cannot attack us. And as we make an attempt to preach, we will see all the challenges, right? Prabhupada, you see in his life how many challenges he faced. And we see that his devotees also, his disciples and so on, how much they are doing it. So this is the only way to keep us free from Maya, away from us Maya. Okay, the personal experience I can say is that although we gain knowledge, but practical application comes when you actually, take some preaching assignments or do something, and which we keep continuously working how to expand the movement, how to, there are so many opportunities now in today's world that, the media technology is available. So many ways it is available. We should never leave our mind idle and continuously, like we have to plan so many things. And in that way we can be fixed, and we will be always in the path. in the right path, in the right association, that will protect us from all kinds of influence of this material world. This is my just a
Thank
small
you.
realization.
Very
I am
nice.
not a great preacher or anything, but I see from other devotees who are practicing, and from their example, I am just trying to say.
Very nicely said, Prabhu. I really two things which struck to me, and one is obviously preaching, as you said, and engagement, continuous engagement, and then another thing is like you need to always keep on planning so that you are keeping yourself engaged in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I am observing many a times it appears like I'm wasting my time. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting idle, or I'm just thinking what to do, and I'm just not doing anything. And that is that is where I find that which I need to improve too much, because if I not improve that, it will certainly distract me from many things. Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks a lot.
Right. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Prabhu, actually, that ye thamma prapadyante, it has been told. So Srila Prabhupada said that if you want to serve Krishna so much, then Krishna also have to serve back.
Yeah.
The moment you serve, you become servant,
Yes.
you become Bhakta Vatsala, or you become, Aham Bhakta Paradina. So Srila Prabhupada says that you should never call Krishna and rather than a father, mother. Because father, mother means they have to serve us. So we should become the Vatsalya Bhava and we should take care of them. That is what is a higher level, he has told. But
Yes.
once one doctor was there in USA, and Prabhupada was there, and somebody got a heart attack, and he saved. And he told, I want to ask one question. You ISKCON people, you are so much surrendered to Krishna, but I saved it. Where did you Krishna went? He couldn't save him. So Srila Prabhupada said, what's your name? He said, my name is Dr. Verma. Then Prabhupada said, okay, in your hospital, somebody dies. Yeah. Sometimes, some cases, we don't, operations goes failure and they die. He said, why? That is their karma. So when they die, you say it is karma. Now you are telling you got saved is Verma. No, both are karma only. Because of the karma only got saved, not you. So he said, doer is Krishna. From that day, he became a disciple of Prabhupada, and he put a photo and he written there, all operations are done by Krishna only. I'm just his servant. Nimitta matram.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada taught it.
Yeah.
And see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, Amar Bhakta Anek Chatur, that my devotees are very intelligent. He gave the answer immediately. He told, you saved. Does anybody die? He immediately told, yes, somebody dies. No, that happens. How? Because of their karma. Oh, when you are not able to save, it is its karma. When you save, it is Verma. It is both times only karma.
Yeah. Mataji has asked a subsequent follow-up question with the same about Shankaracharya. Yes, the current followers of Shankaracharya, yes, they are not actually understood the real message of Lord Shankaracharya. Many of them don't have that idea, proper understanding. Then they don't have the correct understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, because there are many commentators on Bhagavad Gita, impersonalists and other people, they have given a wrong interpretation. They say that accordingly, you can also, everyone can, you are also God, you can also become, you are also Brahman. So they are trying to equate themselves with the Lord. So there's a wrong understanding, unfortunate situation. So if people don't have the complete idea, overall idea about his work, actually. So actually, it's Prabhupada who has brought it out, actually. Unless we read Prabhupada book, we will never able to understand these things. Mataji is asking one more question. Achintya Bheda need explanation. So Achintya Bheda Tattva, we are simultaneously one and different from the Lord, right? Just like, for example, Prabhupada gives a drop of water from the ocean is also salty, but it cannot be equal to the size of the ocean, right? Similarly, we are also part and parcel of Krishna. We are having all the qualities Krishna has, but our quality is in very minute quantity. We can never be equal to Krishna, right? So the Lord is, so in that sense, we are equal to Krishna, but at the same time, we are different. We are not different from the Lord. We cannot be equal to the Lord at any time. He is the master and we are the servant. That is our position. Yeah, servant can never become a master, right? So this is a proper understanding we should have. Thank
So
you.
one good takeaway from your this one was that you should give more preaching. I know when you do more preaching, what happens is you are telling something, and next day if you don't follow, it hurts
Yeah,
you a lot. I told
yes,
him to chant 16 hours in the morning, the Brahma Muhurta time. I am not doing. So you get stuck up.
yeah.
So second time you cannot keep telling because then it won't work. The moment you don't follow, then it will not have an impact.
Yes, yes. Our movement is a preaching movement. That's why Prana Ache say, Prabhupada used to say, if you have life, you will preach. So preaching, that's why if you don't preach, then there is no life at all. I mean, you
It
may
is
preach to even 1% or 10%, 1,000%, doesn't matter, but you have to make some efforts about preaching, somehow or
it
other.
is it is a living dead. It's a
Yeah,
living dead.
yeah. Guru Maharaj used to say, at least if you see, he gives a very simple thing. If we are, say, for example, 1 million devotees now, if each person make one devotee in 1 year, he will double it, isn't it? That's all he's saying. You preach only 1% in 1 year, that's enough. At least 1% make a devotee in 1 year. So if everyone does in our movement, what will happen? Every year our movement will double, isn't it? So that's why
Yes.
Bhakti Vichya preaching, all kinds of preaching is very important.
In
Somehow or other,
my class, 45 friends are my classmates in Chennai and all over India. So I started the first time, they all were enthusiastic. Slowly, 4, 5, only 1% is remaining. Yes, Narayan Prabhu.
okay.
So,
Yeah,
so
it's
I can realize what you said now. That Bhaktivedanta Maharaj told that even if one person goes back to Godhead, then my life is done.
exactly. Yeah, we have to keep on make some attempts. And of course, Bhakti Vichya is a very nice process. We are seeing practically there are many people are, they really want it. It is not that people don't want spiritual life. It is how we present is very important. If you present it properly, there are people who really, really want it actually,
Yeah.
because Kali Yuga is one way blessed because everyone is in a miserable situation. If somebody is trying to help someone, they are feeling very much obliged. So that also we are seeing. So it is a very, very, what do you say? It's a very, the movement is going in a very exciting period because there are preaching opportunities are unlimited. If anyone wants to make efforts, there are unlimited opportunities out there to preach. So we can never say that we don't get the opportunity, or the situation is not favorable. Nothing like that. Situation is very, very favorable. There is a very funny thing. One salesman, he went to the jungle. There he saw that he's a salesman was selling his shoes. So he went to the jungle and he told the manager, here nobody wears any slippers. So
No
there is no
market.
opportunity to sell. The manager replied him, nobody wears chapel means you have so much
Full
opportunity
opportunity.
to full opportunity. You should sell the chapel. So it is how we look at it. It is half glass. Someone may look at the glass of water half filled. Someone will say it is only half filled. Someone say it is already half filled means it is so much water is there. So like this, we have a lot of opportunities. So that way, we are all very fortunate. I should say that then we have so much opportunity to keep us busy in preaching.
So I got one plan now. V.S. Narayan Prabhu, please come on the line. I think we'll invite Mukunda Murari Prabhu for a classmate because I'm their friend and I didn't do Bhakti Viksha. That's why I didn't pick up as in preaching. We'll invite him because he's very expert. Padmi Mate has trained him so well. He has made so many expansions. So we will try to invite him. Don't take me at all. You only just say that I got somebody like that because I'm a familiar face now. Just this idea came. We'll try to invite Prabhu. And you just said that you got him. Don't tell me. You just said, not Subramanian. I got this person. And Bhakti Vichya will start. Maybe all 45 will become devotees. You don't know. Prabhu, any question? But Prabhu has got a track record, good track record.
Tremendous clarity. The classes is entire thing, he gave tremendous clarity. Thank you, Prabhu.
He's a very genius person, Prabhu. He's very genius.
Particularly what you told about Arjuna getting confused after the second chapter. Really, I mean, everybody is in that state actually. After that, only the guidance comes that what we should do. Wonderful.
Thank you,
We
Prabhu.
make some plan to invite Prabhu there and make one Sunday half-an-hour Bhakti Vichar. And this one day, if everybody become devotee, I'll be the happiest person. Do you know? So we'll try with Prabhu. Prabhu, if you don't mind, we'll invite you once in a week, just 1 hour for our classmates. There
I'm
are
at
Tamil,
your service,
Malay.
Prabhu. Whatever you,
Haribol.
I'm a surrendered soul to you. You make me dance as you want.
Don't say that, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Seriously, pran panunga, Prabhu. We studied in the same class, Prabhu. Right from class 1.
Okay, great.
Now he's going to take initiation, come to that level now. But since
Haribol.
BV is not there, so it's not coming. BV would have got initiated by now. We are not following BV. VS Prabhu, any question you want to ask?
No. Nothing. No.
The
So
BV
you
is
just
the best platform. BV is the best platform to start our preaching, because you will be preaching to only a limited people, and you will have a nice interaction. It's like it's not like a one-way traffic, In India, you go to lecture, it's only a one-way traffic. But Bhakti Vichar is a two-way traffic. You share your thoughts, you share your realizations. This gives a two-way conversation that gives a lot of opportunity, clarity, and that's a nice way for interaction.
We'll plan it out, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So nice.
Jai Prabhu. I will be coming in August. Very eager to see you all again.
In Chennai. Please come.
Okay.
Please come,
Right.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
I'll take leave.
Vancha kalpati.
Please forgive me if I have said anything wrong, inappropriate way.
No,
please
Prabhu.
forgive me. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Mukunda Murari Prabhu ki Jai Ho.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki Jai. Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada.
Gauranga, Nityananda, Nityananda, Gauranga, Gauranga, Nityananda. Jai Jai Shri Radhesha. Sabko mile Vrindavan Dham. Bhagavatar ki Lal ki Jai Ho. Thank you, Prabhu. We'll call every month once, Prabhu. Ajit Prabhu, make it a point because Prabhu, such a powerful speaker. So beautiful. Romba sandosham, Prabhu.